and make it very hard to understand. But the genius is how to get something that's so complicated and be able to have somebody be able to do it, and, break it down in simple steps that anybody can do it. That's the genius.
Welcome back to Young Smart Money with me, your host, Apple Credo. Today we are sitting down with Sam Bakhtiar to talk about his process to creating a fitness brand with over 110 physical gym locations, multiple online businesses as well through both the nutrition and the fitness side of things, and how he was able to grow this massive business and scale it as quickly as he has been able to do. So Sam is somebody who's very active in, like we said, the fitness and nutrition space, and the key things that we talk about in this interview are going to be transformation, fulfillment, and the systems needed to create and scale a massively successful business like Sam has been able to do. He talks a lot about transformation, okay? Because if you are in a place right now where you're 18, you're 19, you're 20 years old, and you know where you want to be, you need to transform. You need to be a different person, because the person you are today got you to where you're at today. The person who is going to get you to where you want to be is not the person who you are today, okay? You need to go through a transformation, and Sam is going to walk us exactly through what it takes to make that transformation, okay? Sam went to undergrad, he went to grad school, and has his doctorate, okay? This guy's gone through a ridiculous amount of school and ended up starting his own massively successful multiple companies. So I really wanted to sit down with him and allow him to share his journey and again talk about transformation, finding real fulfillment, and I mean real fulfillment in what you are doing, and then the systems that you need in order to do so. So without further ado, we're going to welcome Sam Bakhtiar onto the show. So I want you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Young Smart Money. All right, Sam, welcome to Young Smart Money. How are you doing today?
Doing fantastic, man. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure. So, Sam, in the intro, our listeners got to hear a little bit about you and what you're currently working on. But for those of them that aren't as familiar with what you're currently doing right now, could you give us a quick 60 to 90-second intro as to what you're currently doing right now?
Yeah, I'm Sam Bakhtiar, and I currently own the CAM Transformation Center. I'm the CEO of the CAM Transformation Center with 110 locations international. I'm also the CEO of MyoSport Nutrition and 1% Nutrition. That's my supplement companies. Other than that, I'm a car enthusiast. I'm a fitness enthusiast, and I'm a husband and a father of, soon to be father of 3. I have 2 daughters, and I have a son on the way.
Wow. So you're doing a couple different things right now. You've got a little bit on your plate.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I like to start these interviews by diving back in time to ideally your middle school and high school years. We've got a lot of younger listeners to the show. So I like to touch on these years in particular to allow them to relate more with you and sort of hear where you got started. So talk to us about middle school and high school and whether you were somebody that took school very seriously, whether you were starting different projects, doing sports. What was that looking like for you?
Well, it was really tough for me because, because we came to America when I was 11. I'm a Persian American, and we came at age 11. My mom and I came to the United States because we're getting bombed on every night by Saddam Hussein. He attacked our country, and so it was really rough. So we came to America as refugees of war. And when we came to America, we went to a little town called Sharon, Pennsylvania, which is in the middle of nowhere. And there's only 30,000 population. I was the only minority in school. As you know, kids can be very cool at that age, and people were making fun of me. I didn't have the same clothes. I didn't have the same language, and it was really, really rough. But I came from a culture and a mom that was very strict on academics. And they said, the only way that you can be a success, you have to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, and you have to study. You have to study. And for me, most of the stuff in school for me was kind of boring. I didn't have any. Some of the subjects I want to learn that, and some of the subjects I didn't, and so it was that, but it was really rough, man. Taking some classes that had I just had no interest in.
For sure. So as you're going down the path, obviously you went to college. Talk to us about that experience, and I guess education was something that was very heavily enforced in your family. So I'm assuming that wasn't really an option for you.
Yeah, my mom, brought me here to the United States, and she made it very clear that she wanted me to go to college. Either doctor, lawyer, engineer, and she says prefer doctor. So I graduated, high school. I went to Penn State University, and went to school to get my doctor in, got my degree in pre-medicine and nutrition. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, what doctor has to do with, because I was always infatuated with, like I said, body transformation, working out, bodybuilding. And I'm like, all right, what doctor has to do with muscles and bones, and I don't have to do surgery, I don't have to drill in people's teeth. and chiropractic came up, and so once I graduated from Penn State University, I applied for chiropractic school, and I came to Los Angeles College of Chiropractic, and I got my degree in chiropractic, my doctorate.
Okay. When did you start getting interested in like body transformations and sort of the muscle side of things?
When I was 14 years old, basically when I came to the United States, I was like basically about 12. I didn't belong to, like I said, I was a foreigner. I was the only foreigner in school. I just wanted to belong to a group. There's black people, there's white people, there was Sam. And they didn't have soccer there. They didn't have, the real football. They had American football. So when I tried out for the basketball team, I got cut. I didn't make the team. Everybody ridiculed me, made fun of me. So my plan was to get better at basketball and try out next year. Well, when I was going to, the boys club to play basketball, I saw these guys that looked like Arnold and Sylvester Stallone, and they were like, walking like this. And I'm like, you know what? I want to look like that. And I started working out. And I fell in love with, how I started getting stronger. I started getting a little more muscular, and not only what it did for me physically, but also what it did for me, as far as my self-esteem, my self-worth, how I felt about myself. So that's when I knew that I was going to do this. This is what I loved.
That's very interesting. So talk to us about why do you think that made you feel more confident? Like, why do you think being able to see that transformation in yourself made you a more confident person at that young age?
Well, look, when, we all want to be noticed, right? And once I started like getting a little more muscular, a little more tone, and a little stronger, you automatically start feeling better about yourself. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, everything around you, the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, has a better vibration, and I automatically started feeling better about myself. My self-esteem started going up, and the rest was history.
Okay. So bouncing back to you deciding to go into chiropractic because you were interested in sort of how the body worked and transformations. What did that process look like for you, studying and then eventually transitioning into sort of where you're at now?
It was really tough, man, because I always wanted to do bodybuilding. When I was going to school, I was working as a personal trainer. I was doing bodybuilding, working out, prepping my foods and things like that. And I remember once I graduated, I gave my diploma to my mom. I said, "Hey, Mom, I know this is like your bragging rights to your friends that your son is a doctor. This is for you, but now I want to open up a gym. Can I open up a gym? Can I borrow a little bit of money? And she said, okay, but make sure you still do your chiropractic." And I said, all right. So I started my gym in year 2000. And here we are, was it 19 years later with 110 locations.
Wow. Okay. So talk to us about that process of opening that first gym. You mentioned that you were doing some personal training beforehand. So was that sort of just like on the side, just like friends and family that you were just like helping them out with their bodies?
No, I was doing personal training, for real.
Okay.
I was actually working at a big box gym doing personal training, and all that kind of stuff to, be able to have some extra money. And then when I went to start my own business, I borrowed money from my mom. I literally only had $5,000 left. And I remember at the end of the month, my rent was $17,000. So I didn't have any margin for error. If I didn't make it the first month, I would have been kicked out and I would have had to move back to my mom. So I went to full hustle mode and I really started promoting the personal training, ready to start selling. And that's what I did.
What did that look like for you? Sort of like trying to get as many people in the door, or what was that process?
As many people as into the door, as many people to be able to buy as many sessions as possible. I was just heading everything and everybody up because, I had, like I said, it was sink or swim for me at that time. And I was just hustling, getting people in the door, putting out flyers, walking to different businesses, going to Chamber of Commerce, going to BNI, Business Network Institute. I was omnipresent. So I was going everywhere. I was doing everything, promoting myself. I was in full promotion mode.
Absolutely. So what was like, or rather, when you find yourself with your back to the wall, is that sort of a scenario that you thrive under? And is that something that you have found time and time again, that sort of when you do have your back to the wall like that, like you have $5,000 and you need $17,000 by the end of the month, is that an environment where you thrive? Because I know a lot of people, when they have their back against the wall, that's where they perform best. But some people, it's really stressful for them. So how do you think about that?
Well, absolutely, man. I'm a type of person, man. If it's sink or swim, I'm going to find a way to swim.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And of course, it's going to be stressful. But all my life, I've dealt with adversity. All my life, not having a father come to America. All my life, So, and some people crumble. It's just like that. I mean, you see it in fighters. You see it in people. As soon as a little bit of pressure comes, people crumble. I thrive under pressure. I love a challenge.
Okay. How did you learn how you were going to overcome this challenge of really like bringing a gym to life? Because it doesn't sound like you had you had some experience in a big box gym, but did you know anything about the process of like starting your own business, starting your own gym, or how were you learning like what you needed to do to basically jump through all the hoops that you needed to in order to bring this business to life?
Well, I've been personal training by this time, pretty much my whole time through college and through grad school.
Okay.
So I have a pretty good knowledge of personal training.
Okay.
In the process of personal training and signups and all that kind of stuff. But I wasn't business savvy.
Yeah.
So the hustle part and making money part and getting people in the door and selling them wasn't a problem because I already had that because I was basically building my experience the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started the business, then I knew that somehow I need mentors. I need, to read books. I need to now learn the business of it, and not just learn to work in the business and start working on the business.
Mm-hmm.
The book that I recommend is E-Myth Revisited by Michael
Yes.
Gerber. You know what I mean? And that was one of my first books that I read that just totally opened my eyes so that I don't have to be slave in the business at that time.
Absolutely. So where did you find mentors that could show you the things you needed to do to sort of transition from being the practitioner, to use the words of Michael Gerber, into the business owner?
If these days, man, you can find anything on Google, YouTube.
Oh yeah.
The information is out there if you seek it. So, the easiest way is, for someone who's watching this is who's doing what you want to do. Just ask them for mentorship. Don't ask them for free advice. Don't disrespect their time. Go to them, be like, hey, what does it cost for me to become membership? At that time, I got a mentor. It was like $5,000 a year. And to me at that time, that was a lot of money,
Right.
but I knew from my prior bodybuilding years when I hired a mentor, how much it helped me. I'm like, I need a mentor. I need somebody who's already been there, done that. Because when I was bodybuilding, I hired a mentor and he totally taught me how to peak for the bodybuilding show. And so this mentor also showed me how to peak for, how to get my business to peak.
Okay, so how do you think about basically the role that a mentor is going to have on you, or like what they're going to bring to the table? Because do you go into this thinking like, okay, this is the hurdle that I need to get over? Like, who can I find to take me over this hurdle in particular? Or like, this is the general direction that I want to go into, who has sort of excelled in this direction? How specific do you get when you like have specific mentors?
Well, both. I mean, you need both. You need a mentor to give you a 30,000-foot view
Mm-hmm.
of what needs to happen. Well, what are we trying to do? That's the general vision of what's going on, right? But in the meantime, a mentor that's going to be able to let you know, okay, this is a general vision. Now we have to take one step at a time, and this is the step. This is the next step. This is the next step, and also hold you accountable that you're doing things on your part. That's a true mentorship.
Absolutely. So talk to us now about that process of really like taking this gym like from ground zero to like just scaling up this first gym, because that must have been a huge process for you, because again, you hadn't really done much experience like with your own stuff before. So what did that process look like? What were some of the biggest hurdles that you had to face when you were sort of figuring out like how to get your legs underneath yourself and really establish this first gym?
The biggest hurdle I had to face was learning how to market.
Mm.
I knew the business, this time, but I was never been a marketer, never learned how to market, never learned how to persuasion, never learned how to write copy, and all that kind of stuff. So that's when, that's why I chose that mentor, and I've learned how to, market, how to generate leads, how to, generate interest. And then I also read a couple of books. One, that I highly recommend is called Influence, Robert Cialdini. Great book on, he talks about 6 weapons of influence and how you can persuade people, your way. And it really opened my eyes. And I knew that, if I wanted to become successful, not only I need to know, be the artist, know that, the personal training, of course, I need to know, the muscles and the nerves and the original, the nerve supplies and, nutrition and anatomy, biomechanics. I also really need to know the business of personal training, the marketing of personal training, And that really took my game to a whole new level.
Okay, what are some of the fundamental things that you learned that it could be applicable to a 16, 17, 18-year-old who's listening right now, who might want to, who knows like the sort of art of their craft? They know about personal training, but they don't know how to market themselves. What are some of the first steps that they should take, or like basic foundational things that they need to understand?
Yeah, so a lot of times marketing used to be, hey, put a flyer out, buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit, right?
Yeah.
Buy my stuff, and if you do that, after a while, people are just gonna kind of like, block you off, especially if you do that on social media. Social media is like a coffee shop. People are hanging out to have a conversation, man. You can't just go in there to a coffee shop and say, hey, buy my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the most important thing when it comes to marketing, especially in this day and age, is for you to provide value, provide content, provide something that they can use. And once, whatever business you're in, nobody's going to buy from you if they don't know you, like you, or trust you. So for them to get to know you, like you, or trust you, you have to give them great content, so that they're like, oh, they get to know you and see what kind of stuff you put on, and then they buy from you. A lot of times what I see people wrong, man, just put flyers out. Hey, personal training, $45, personal training. Hey, 1 week free. And some of that, I'll talk about, a little bit of entry offer for people that should try you out and all that kind of stuff. It's cool. But most importantly, man, if you want to be the trusted advisor, you have to give them great, you have to give people some meat and potatoes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, you have to have that substance there, because again, if you're just using social media to like blast ads at people and to basically just like promote yourself, nobody's going to take the time to engage with you, to interact with you, because you're not bringing anything to the table for them. Like they're not getting anything from consuming your content other than like hearing about your latest like personal training like sale that you're having. So I think that's really important. And a lot of people get caught up in just like promoting stuff when they need to be providing value, a significant amount of value, before they think about asking for anything.
Yes. Yeah, 100% agree with you on that.
So now talk to us about that process of scaling from one gym all the way up to the 110 that you have right now. So when did you decide that it was time to expand beyond just the first gym? Was that something that took a while, or when did you sort of reach this crossroads of like, I need to expand?
So we had the first gym for a few years, and then I'm like, you know what? We have some pretty good systems in place.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we take this and put it in a different town? So we literally went up to, 10 miles down the road, put the same exact systems and everything, in place, and replicated there. From then we did this third one and the fourth one. And, if you want to replicate, and replication comes all about systems and procedures. So you can't replicate if you don't have any systems and procedures. And once you want to replicate at a massive scale, not only you have to have systems and procedures, you have to have what's called a SOP, standard operating procedure. So that this way, anybody from the street can come in and you have a manual, or you have an online program that they can go run your business with almost no knowledge. That's why McDonald's are so successful, even though they don't have the best burgers in the world. The same burger you get here in Chino is the same burger you get in Germany. So you have to have that process in place. If you want to be able to expand and grow.
How do you establish those standard operating procedures and those systems in your business? Like, what was that process like for you?
Okay, so you have to figure out, okay, everything that you do, you have to make sure that you document it. You have to document everything. Okay, how do I open the door? How do I set the alarm? What do I do when I open up? How every single thing that you do, it has to be documented. You want to look at it. You want to look at it as this. You want to be someone to be able to run your whole business with very, very little effort. And you want to assume that this person is not very intelligent. So you want to make it what I call dummy proof. The more dummy proof you want to make it, the easier it is to run your business and more successful you're going to come.
Absolutely. And just, yeah, finding ways to explain things in the most simple way possible is something that I have found to be extremely helpful, especially when I'm bringing on more members to my team. If I don't know how to clearly explain what I want from them, nobody's going to get anything done. Everyone's time is just going to be wasted because they don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. And just nothing's going to happen.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I found out that the ultimate form of sophistication is simplification.
Mm. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, look, anybody can make something complicated. Anybody can make something very complicated and make it very hard to understand. But the genius is how to get something that's so complicated and be able to have somebody be able to do it, and, break it down in simple steps that anybody can do it. That's the genius.
Mm, that's so true. And there's a quote that goes something like, "I didn't have time to write you a short letter, so I wrote you a long one," because like it's a lot easier to just like vomit a bunch of stuff out and not really have to like think about like how you're going to structure things and all the little like subtleties when you just like spit everything out. But it takes time and it takes effort to really condense something into a package that people can easily consume and easily replicate, as opposed to just like throwing a bunch of stuff at them and expecting them to basically swim in just all of this just stuff that you're just throwing at them.
I couldn't agree more.
All right. So at this point, when do you start expanding into different verticals? Because you've got all these gyms at this point in time, you've got multiple different verticals that you're working in. So when does that expansion start happening?
I'm not really in multiple verticals. I mean, I'm in the same vertical. It
Sure.
just makes, for example, I never understood why, somebody who's in real estate doesn't have an escrow company. They go hand in hand, right? It's not like, I went totally, started selling insurance.
Sure.
I'm in the gym business. And I remember I was sending my clients to like NutriShop, Max Muscle, or GNC, and I was recommending them to buy a certain type of protein. And what I realized is when I was sending them to these, stores, not only they were not selling them what I was asking for, they were selling them their own product. And then not only that, they were like bad mouthing me and they say, "Oh, well, the trainer doesn't know what he's talking about. I want you to buy our product." And what I found out is because they had more, profit margins. They didn't
Mhm.
care about my client. They wanted just to make money. And when I confronted them, they're like, "No, no, 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 no. Can you recommend them? This is the same thing." No, it's not. I'm like, I want my clients to take this particular brand and this particular thing. And that's when I knew that for my best interest and my client's best interest, I got to control the quality of stuff that I recommend,
Hmm.
and that's when I started getting into the supplement business, and it just went hand in hand with it. We know that if somebody wants to get the best results for their training, 80% is going to come from nutrition, right? So not only we got to get exercise, they got to get the nutrition and supplementation correct. So then we just brought that in house, and not only our clients are getting better results, and now we know they're getting the right stuff.
Absolutely. How did you know that it was time to bring that in house? Because I'm sure, especially when you were just starting off, there were a lot of things that needed to be done. When did you know that you were, or when did you, what made you decide to make that jump into bringing that in house? Because clearly that's going to take some of your focus, some of your attention, some of your energy away from the gym business. So how were you able to balance that?
See, I'm in the business of body transformation.
Sure.
At the end of the day, my job was to give my clients the best results.
Hmm.
And I saw that a lot of our clients were going, just, getting stuff. People don't know what's good and what's bad. There are a million other supplement companies out there, some good, some bad, but they were just actually going, instead of like getting a protein shake, they didn't know they were buying weight gainers. You know what I mean? And, then they were trying to lose weight and they were just getting, sold a bunch of crap. And I'm like, you know what? It's time now. It's time. We have enough locations for us to be able to support a supplement company, and now it's time for us to look into it. What do we have to lose, to look into it? So I started doing the research and started developing products. And it was a process, developing product, make sure it tastes good, make sure it's the right quality, make sure we get it verified, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's what, and here we are.
Absolutely. So, how would you advise a younger listener who has maybe built up one side of their business? How would they tell if it's time for them to like expand into something a little bit different, something supplemental to what they're currently doing without having it take away too much? Because I see so many people jumping around from like thing to thing to thing, especially at a young age. A lot of the people I'm associating myself with, I've seen them bounce between like 8 different business models in like 6 months, and they're never giving one thing enough time to really like grow and really like see some
I'm so
results.
glad you I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's my pet peeve with everyone as well. Malcolm Gladwell in the book Outliers, he talks about the 10,000 hour rule. And if you haven't read it, if you listen to this, you need to pick that book up, you
Absolutely.
know, and basically it takes 10,000 hours for you to master something. And I see now people just doing 1,000 hours in 50 million things, and they're never the jack of all trades, a master not, they're really not giving anything one, full shot. it's not like, I had one location and I wanted to just go get supplement company. It wasn't 2 locations, 3. We were actually having 15 locations at that time, when I was like, all right, man, it's time for us to now bring something supplemental. And it wasn't in a whole different vertical, different niche. It was supplementary to my own business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not selling somebody insurance when they come to the gym. It's something they need anyway, something that's going to complement what they have. So, first of all, one of the most important thing, I want people to realize is that, Mark Jordan, in his book called Great Formula, he talks about, you want to sell people, the money's made in the second class. If you want to be successful, find a thirsty crowd, find a niche, thirsty crowd, solve a problem, sell them a glass and see what else we can sell them, right? You can't just sell them one thing and just be done. So if you're looking at it, if you're an entrepreneur, you're starting out a business, look at it and say, hey, so if I'm selling them this, my customer right now that buys this, what else do they want to buy? People who buy this product, what else they'd be interested? I mean, Amazon does it.
Yep.
When you go to Amazon or something, they'll give you suggestions of other things that people buy. The same thing is complementary to what you have. Now, if you can start it and it doesn't distract you and you can have it right away when you start and it doesn't take a lot of your income out of the way or, thing like that, yeah, offer it. But if it's going to totally wear you off the game and you're not ready for it, you're not ready for it. But you always want to make sure that you offer complementary products, because your people who are interested in your product are buying it somewhere anyway.
That's so true. And if your clients are already buying this from somebody else and you can bring it in house, you might as well, because then you're going to be able to serve them at a higher level and just provide more value to the people that do work with you, keep them in the door longer, and keep them coming back time and time again. Now, Sam, one thing that I also hear you talk about a lot is the idea of fulfillment. And I know for a lot of our younger listeners, I'm getting messages every single day of people saying, well, I've been working on this for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years, and I'm not feeling fulfilled with my work. I've been doing drop shipping. I've been doing social media marketing. I've been doing X, Y, and Z for however long, and I'm not really feeling fulfilled anymore. So what would you tell that listener who's been doing something for a while, but they're not really feeling like it's bringing them that satisfaction that they thought it would or that it used to?
Well, I mean, what is fulfillment? What is the definition of fulfillment? For me, fulfillment is making a difference in someone's life. And to me, that's what fulfillment is. Fulfillment is not money. Most people, they say, well, I'm not fulfilled because they're not making the money they used to. And if the only fulfillment they had was because they were making money. Now they're not making as much money. Now suddenly they're not fulfilled. That's bullshit. Fulfillment is something that it fulfills you if you make zero money or make a lot of money. Does that make sense? So fulfillment is making a difference in this world, making an impact, and no disrespect to anybody who drop ships, but I don't think anybody would say, hey, a drop ship, changed my life. You know what I mean? I don't think any drop ship will change my life. So I don't think that's it. Now, maybe if they're making the money from the drop ship, they can take that and actually, maybe form an organization, nonprofit, actually help some people or be able to do that. That's when the fulfillment comes from. But I don't see how someone can get fulfillment from a drop ship. I'm using that as an example. And I got this asked, and I get asked this again to piggyback off of what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked me the other day, how do you avoid burnout? And I said, what do you mean, burnout? I'm like, dude, if you truly, truly love what you do, you're obsessed about what you do, and you truly love what you do, how can you possibly be burned out? I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand. It doesn't even, it's like the eighth wonder of the world. How can you tell me you're burned out if you love what you're fucking doing? I just interviewed Grant yesterday. I know Grant for a couple of times. I met with him. The guy's 61 years old, nearly a billionaire. The dude had a 9 o'clock, appointment with me. I went there at 9 o'clock. He FaceTimes me. He says, dude, I'm on my way. I was just in the gym. He was working out. The billionaire, he can, he's in Beverly Hills. He can just chill, kick back. He's in the gym, but he's meeting me, and doing my podcast and interviewing me. And after that, he has another thing for himself. Does Grant get burned out? He loves what he's doing because his mission is for 7 billion people to know him. And if you're right there already, if you're like, a young guy and he said burnout, that's fucking bullshit. Grow some balls, You know what I mean? Grow some balls, get some work done and get some that doesn't burn you out. This whole thing about, people say, oh, gotta be balanced, gotta be balanced. Balance is not given, balance is earned. You know what I mean? For you to be balanced, you got to be able to go somewhere for a while that you're not balanced so you can come out and be earn balance, right? You can't just, sit home and be like, yeah, man, I want to be able to do this, do that, and I want to be balanced, because you're not going to get anywhere. You can't juggle 5 things at the same time. So you got to go master one thing, come back and master the other thing, and be able to earn balance. Balance is earned, not given.
I love that. I love that so much. And one thing that I also want to dive into here while we're talking today is the idea of joining the 1%, because that's something that you talk about a lot. And I think some of our listeners might not fully understand what you mean when you refer to the 1%. So could you give us a quick definition by like what you mean when you're talking about joining the 1% or becoming a part of the 1%?
1% is all about doing whatever it takes and going the unpopular route. And not worrying about what everybody else is doing. Look, I didn't come up with that. Warren Buffett said, he's the greatest investor of all time. Warren Buffett said, if you want to be successful, watch what everybody else is doing and do the fucking opposite. Bottom line. And that's the 1%, because 99% of people, I'm going to be very blunt with you. 99% of people are just getting by. 99% of people are fat and broke. You know what I mean? And so if you want to be like that, if you want to be like 60 years old, retired with less than $1,000 in your bank account, because that's what the statistics says, then go ahead and get the new Jordans and get the new iPhones and do what everybody else is doing and do that. But if you want to be the 1%, if you want to stand out, if you want to make something great, then go do the opposite. Look at what the top people are doing. It's not hard these days. This is a cool thing. It's not hard these days, man. These information are free. Some of the top people in the world got amazing podcasts, and the information is out there. But here's the hard part: the execution. Mm-hmm. The execution. And this is, again, I'm going to talk to the younger folks that are watching this. If you want to be successful, you got to learn to delay gratification. Delay gratification. You see all these people, flossing on Instagram and all this and that. A lot of that is bullshit. You want to be able to build something, you got to put in the work, and you not only put in the work, you got to be fucking consistent. Anybody, I'm not impressed these days for anything, for anybody to say, oh, this guy's crushing it. Okay. Crush it for how long? Oh, a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year. No, let me see you crush it for years, decades. But nobody wants to put in the work. Everybody wants to shine. They don't want to grind.
That's so true. Did you ever struggle at first with what other people thought of you? Like when you were going out there and starting your first gym, did you ever struggle with like what your friends, what your family, what other people around you were thinking about what you were doing? I come from a family that has a very backwards thinking. Most people brag about their rags to riches story. Mm-hmm. My family talks about how they had so much money and they lost it all, and they brag about that. Persians, especially old school Persians, they can be very close-minded. And when I came to America, I knew that if I wanted to be successful, I had to be able to be open to different ideas and different things. And even though I listen to people, I hear people, I don't listen to them. If I hear something over and over and over again, then I see a pattern. Maybe I paid attention. But here's the thing, man. Bottom line is this. You have to ignore the noise. You have to ignore, the thing. And you got to be laser focused on what you want, what your goal want to be. What you want out of life. You got to design your life. And if you keep listening to people and what they say, this and that, you're not going to live your life by design. You're going to live your life by default, the way they want to see. Mm-hmm. So how do you personally, or how would you suggest a younger listener, again, like a 19, 20-year-old, develop that strong why? Because for you clearly have a strong vision that you're working towards. You clearly have these fixed goals and these places that you're trying to get to that you're very passionate about. But for somebody who doesn't have that, they don't really know what their goals are. They don't really know what they're trying to do with their life. How would you talk to that person about really establishing a strong why?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not even going to give you a bullshit answer for that.
Okay.
Matter of fact, somebody just asked me that not too long ago, and here's what I will tell you. Mm-hmm. I don't fucking understand how you can be 16, 17, 18 years old and not have a why. I don't understand you don't have a drive. I don't get it. If you have a pulse, you have a passion,
Mhm.
then you have to have it. I know as soon as I was 4 years old that I loved three things. As soon as I was 4 years old, I was in love with sports. I was in love with cars. I was in love with women. I saw a pretty woman at 4 years old. I'm like, oh my God, she looks good. I didn't even know the birds and the bees. I didn't know what it was all about. I didn't know. I was 4 years old. I just knew that when a pretty lady came by, I'm like, damn, I was looking at her. When a Ferrari drove by, I was what was that Ferrari, Lamborghini? Oh my God, it's a Corvette, And I always like sports. So I don't get when it's funny because, I have people that are close to me and they don't have it. I'm not bashing anyone because there are people close to me and they don't have it. Dude, you either want it or you don't want it in this life. And here's what I'm going to tell you, especially, some of you guys that are younger. Look, here's the bottom line. You're born here and you're going to die here. That's the truth. And this is your lifespan, right? We all think we have forever and we don't, right? So every second that you're not doing something, every second you're not doing your work, you're fucking wasting it. If you're watching the Kardashians and you're watching, you're spending hours on meaningless video games or you're just wasting time, you're just hanging out with a bunch of people that are not going to do anything to your success, man, you're wasting it. And you think you have all this time, man. I'm 45. I can't believe I'm 45. I just want like this. I'm 45. And you know what? I'm just going to be like this. I'm 65. And guess what? Again, all those people who are retired at 65 with less than $1,000, they thought they had all this time too. I have time now. It's cool. I can do this later. I can save later. I can work on that later. Next, they're 65. They don't have shit. They haven't done shit. You know what I mean? So get to work. Get in there and start really, really, focusing on one thing. Look, where do you live?
I live in Wisconsin.
Okay. Have you ever been to the LA area, Southern California?
Yeah.
Okay. So we know the best hamburger, the best cheeseburgers is In-N-Out Burger. I mean, nobody can contest that. If somebody's had an In-N-Out Burger, out of 10 people, I will say 9 people will say In-N-Out is the best fucking burger, right? And when you go to In-N-Out, it's basically hamburger, cheeseburger, and double hamburger, cheeseburger, and fries. That's it.
Simple,
right? They focus on one thing and they do the best at that one thing. Okay? Now, you go to Wendy's or you go to, they have chicken sandwich, they have burritos, they have this, they have that, they have that. And here's what a lot of people do. They go from this to this and this and this and that. They try to do too many things. Look, all you have to do is become, go deep in one vertical and become the best at that one thing. And that's what a lot of people are not willing to do. They're not willing to put in the hours. They're not willing to they want fast money, and it's not going to last.
That's the truth.
Sam, not a generalist.
Yes, special. That's huge. And because people aren't looking, when someone's looking to bring somebody onto their team, when someone's looking to hire someone to do some consulting for them, they're not looking for someone who's kind of good at 12 different things. They're looking for somebody who is extremely good at one thing. If I need a Facebook ad specialist, I'm not going to hire somebody who kind of knows Shopify, kind of knows Amazon, kind of knows Facebook ads, kind of knows YouTube. I'm going to find someone who's really good at Facebook ads and I'm going to hire them. Hey,
look, man, I always use this example. Let's just say, heaven forbid, your dad, has heart issues.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to go to a doctor that's an orthopedic, heart surgeon, ear surgeon, dentist, chiropractor, or are you going to go to a doctor who just knows heart? It's simple.
Yeah, it's simple.
Yeah,
100%. Sam, I got some questions I like to ask all of my guests before we wrap up the show. You feeling ready for them?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. The first thing I'm curious about is, what are you genuinely excited about right now? What is something that genuinely has you fired up?
Bro, life.
Yes.
Life. I'm excited every single. I get up at 3:00. I can't sleep. I just get up and I just want to get going. And people are like, "No, you need 8 hours sleep." You don't need fucking 8 hours. I just sleep enough so I can get going. You know what, man? My dreams are not going to happen. Life is exciting. What do you mean you're going to eat no sleep? I see 8, 10, 12 hours people sleep. I'm like, what the fuck you doing, man? Sleep is not exciting to me. I want to get up and I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to do things. I got stuff to do. So life in general, other than that, man, I have a new baby boy on the way. Simon Alexander Jr. That's due in late June, early July. That I'm so excited about, man. But dude, man, you get up and you gotta love life. Especially for those guys, man, who live in the United States of America. Gosh, man, I've been in a third world country. I was, raised in a third world country, man. Now, I can understand if you want to sleep, if you live there. Now, fucking shit going on, but you live in, Jesus Christ, you live in the best country that, everything is here. Get up and move.
That's the truth, man. I just hop out of bed every single morning, just like ready to get after it. Cause I'm like, there's just so much to do. There's like so many people to meet. It's such a good, I don't know, like life is good. And
Yes.
I'm very grateful for it.
Yes.
Sam, what are some of the habits that you have? I'm sure you have a lot, but like, what are some of the habits you have that have served you particularly well, either in your business or your lifestyle?
That's a great question, man. And here's what I will tell you: time management.
Yes.
I'm a master at time management. I mean, if you look at this right now, this is what I do every night. I print out my schedule the day before. I don't put it on my phone because I don't want to be on the phone getting distracted with notifications and all kinds of. I print it. I know exactly what I'm doing the night before. I'm laser focused. And here's what I'm going to tell you and everybody else. You know what I mean? Time is the most precious commodity we have. Everybody says that. Everybody agrees with that. Money you can get back if you lose. Time you cannot. Everybody has an expiration date. I'm going to die. You're going to die. We're going to have an expiration date. So for you, your job is to maximize the time that you are here on this earth and stop wasting your time on meaningless things. So here's one of the things that I do. I always figure out what I'm doing recurring every day, what I need to do recurring every day, what needs to happen every week, what needs to happen every month. And then I put a schedule and I put it on a recurring thing. So I have a system for my time management and for my life. So for example, my haircut, I get a haircut every week, is at 6 a.m. Fridays. And guess what? My barber comes in 6 a.m. Fridays. When I couldn't afford a barber to come to the house, I had it at a different time. And it was at that time every single day. So I don't have to decide when I'm going to get a haircut and all that. It's automatic. My car washes get the same time. My laundry gets done at the same time. My dry cleaning gets the same time. My grocery shopping is at the same time. So this way, I don't have what's called a decision fatigue. And I'm not deciding every day, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What time I'm going to do this? It's automatic on my schedule. I don't have to think about it. It automatically gets done.
That's the truth. And having those systems, because again, like usually like I don't have to make a decision in like the first 2 hours of the day because it's always the same. I know I'm going to wake up, I'm going to eat my breakfast, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to take a cold shower, and like then I'm going to get to work. But like I don't make any decisions those first 2 hours because I don't need to. I know exactly what I'm going to do and it just happens. Some
of the most successful people, man, that I know have literally, taken it so far as they have the same exact gene, 7 to 7. Yep. Same exact shirt, 7 on, same exact shoes, 7. So they know it, that this outfit looks good. And they know that, okay, they have a fresh one every single day to wear. So this way they know they don't got to, last thing you want to do in the morning, get up and be like, okay, what am I going to wear? And spend a half an hour fucking trying to mash shit up. You know what I mean? It's bullshit.
It's ridiculous, man. So Sam, you're putting out a lot of content right now. Is there any content you're consuming, whether that's podcasts, audiobooks, books you're reading?
Man, yes, man. I'm always, man. I don't know if you've seen, some videos in my house, whatever. Mm-hmm. I have a 3,000 book library. I'm a student. I love reading, man. To me, reading is like my spa. I can sit back and just relax and just turn everything off and just read and just, gosh, I wish I was like that when I was in college. But here's what I'll tell you, man. I mean, formal education, will make you, will make a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. We know that. That's Jim Rohn's quote.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I do listen to podcasts. I do read books. I'm all about improving myself in 5 areas of life, which is faith, family, fitness, finance, fun. And then once you have these 5, then you can do your fulfillment.
I like it. I like that. Got to have them all start with F so I can remember them.
Yes.
I love it. So Sam, one thing that I'm always very curious about as well is what my guests do that doesn't scale. So for me personally, what I mean by this is like every single day I'll pull out my phone, I'll shoot like a video DM. I'll go to my new followers on Instagram. I'll pick like 5, 10 of them just randomly and shoot them a video DM, be like, hey, what's up? My name's Apple. Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Let me know how I can help you out. Have a wonderful day. Something very simple like that. But I'll be sure to say their name and just make it as personal as I can to them. And that's not something that I bring on one of my VAs to do all day. That's not something that I scale up. I choose to keep that very personal. I want to keep it one-on-one. Is there anything that comes to mind for you that has that like personal touch to it that you implement in your business?
So, one of my, one thing that I do with my 1% brand is with every order, I send them a handwritten thank you card.
Wow.
A handwritten thank you card. So I actually sit down, and write a handwritten thank you card. Hey, thank you so much for your purchase. This and that. I really appreciate it. You are a true 1%er, Sam Bakhtiar. And that's, that's something that I do. And I want to make sure that, that every single person gets that. And people appreciate that so much.
Oh, absolutely, man. And like people, when they see that like it's actually coming from you, when people see that like you are the one that's like actually reaching out to them, that's extremely, extremely impactful and goes a long way to build brand and build rapport with them.
Well, here's here's the biggest problem when you scale.
Hmm.
You always have to answer this question to yourself: how can I, get big but remain small?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? How can I keep the personal touch and still be able to scale? And that's something that, everybody needs to because, one of the reasons that you are growing as a small business is the personal touch. But if you lose that relationship and you lose that touch, you're not going to have that competitive advantage, because at this day and age, somebody's doing what you're doing. There's a competitor in every space, every niche. And the only way you can differentiate yourself is by relationships and the personal touch.
So true. So true. Sam, I really appreciate you choosing to spend your time here on Young Smart Money. Where can our listeners go if they've been enjoying the massive amounts of value you've been providing to us today? Where can they follow up with you at?
Absolutely, man. My Instagram handle is sambakhtiar.com, SAMBAKHTIAR. And then, my website is sambakhtiar.com, same, SAMBAKHTIAR.com.
Awesome. And I'll be sure to link up both of those in the show notes below for our listeners to check out and follow up with you at. Sam, again, I really appreciate your time. Do you have any last closing thoughts or words of wisdom you want to close out the show with here today?
No, man, I just got to tell you, man, for those guys that are young entrepreneurs, man, and are going out there, you know what, man, I'm proud of you guys. You guys are choosing the right path. Just make sure to understand that, there's nothing like entrepreneurship, but also, you don't have a 9-to-5 job. You have a 24/7, do whatever it takes job, right? So I want you to understand, man, stay in there. You are going to have the ups and downs, but if you stay with it and just really focus on what you need to do and don't get distracted, you're going to build something great. And this way you don't have a boss. You're going to live life on your terms. There's nothing like being a true entrepreneur, but if you have to be able to weather the storm and to be able to get to where you want to be.
That's the truth. It's not about margaritas on the beach. It's about working towards your goals, getting that fulfillment, and really providing value to people. Sam, I really appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for choosing to spend it here on Young Smart Money.
My pleasure, Apple. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Young Smart Money. Again, if you guys did enjoy the show, do remember to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. It really does help us get in front of more people with the show. It helps you hear from even more amazing guests. It just makes the world go round when you do smash that 5-star in iTunes. And if you guys want me to shout you out in my Instagram story, I am always up for that. So if you send a screenshot of your review to Apple Creator Official on Instagram, shoot me a DM of that or just tag me in it. Would love to repost it on my short story and give y'all a shout out there. Otherwise, I hope you guys do have a wonderful day, whether you're out walking the dog, whether you are at the gym, whatever you are up to on this fine day. I hope it is a splendid one, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful day. Real quick, just launched a new project called the Online Course Examiner, basically the Yelp of online courses. It is blowing up lately, onlinecourseexaminer.com. Check it out.